When Ruth and Douglas Macfarlane received a call from their bank, Santander, explaining that they needed to transfer their savings to another account due to fraudulent activity, they believed them.
But what they didn't know was that they were talking to professional scammers. What they did next is something they'll regret for the rest of their lives. And Douglas and Ruth join us now to tell us more. Guys, welcome. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
So what happened? You answered the phone and tell us exactly what was said to you at that point and what made you believe you were actually talking to the bank.
The lady who phoned purported to come from Santander through fraud department. She asked us to check the telephone number, which was displayed on our phone as the same as that on the back of our debit card, which was the Santander number.
So the number was on your caller ID.
Correct.
So you recognized that as the number from the bank Santander calling you because it also was on the back of the credit card.
That's right.
So everything looked legit.
It was. She then said that she had a call from Visa verification that 2 transactions had taken place.
2 unusual transactions,
Yes.
is that right? Yeah.
And would we be prepared to say yes or no? Were they correct? That was a straightforward question, no implications. I looked at the questions and no, neither of the transactions to 2 other bodies were correct. And she said, well, in which case we will stop these and save you something like £1,600 on payment out. We also then need to cancel your card, and everything progressed from there. As she gained our confidence, having assured us she'd saved that amount of money, that she was authentically from Santander, she knew our bank details, she even gave me the last 4 digits of my debit card.
I think, well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, when they give you your own information to you first, you kind of think, you know, and it's a softly spoken, pleasant lady on the phone, you kind of, I think anybody would have been a victim to that.
Was there anything coming up that was possibly was the bank saying they were sending you any information, like texts saying don't do this, or to follow along or to be aware? Was anything like that happening?
Quite a long way down in the process. There was something from the bank, and we were advised by the lady that these were computer-generated security questions that really she was overriding because she was already dealing with it.
So the scammer was telling you that the stuff that was actually being sent from Santander to warn you about the scam was actually a scam in itself.
Yes,
right?
effectively.
Effectively,
Yeah.
okay. So this, just so people that don't know this, what happened to you was called caller ID spoofing.
Yes.
And it's something that is happening to a lot of people at the moment. Ruth, how much money did you lose?
Well, between us, just under £40,000 from 3 accounts.
Have you seen any of that come back into your account? What's been the process with Santander at the moment?
Well,
there's a silence there from you, which tells me it's not good.
Yeah.
Most of it not, no.
Okay.
They did recover, was it 6,000?
Yes.
Yes, from somewhere.
Even on the first day that we reported it to them, they wrote to us saying that it denied all responsibility. On the first day that we reported it to them. And on every letter that I have written since, they have denied any responsibility whatsoever for security breaches or letting any of our personal information come out from that source.
Do they have any idea where that information came from to the scammer, or were they saying it's just because you were speaking to them and acknowledging the information?
No. We were not acknowledging the information, we were given the information.
Okay.
They already
Santander, no response really on any of these technical questions.
Okay. So everything was transferred into another account, and that was apparently your safety account. And you said you've received about £6,000 back so far.
Yes, we both had to transfer into different accounts, and Douglas had £6,000.
So just nothing really compared to what you had.
So they know where it went and where it went from there.
Those savings to you, what did those savings mean to you?
Well, they
must be everything.
They mean things that we could do in our retirement and things we can share with our family.
Yeah.
Of course.
And do you feel, well, a little cheated because Santander don't have your back?
Yes, very much so. It feels, after 20-odd years of having both personal and business accounts with them, it just feels like they've tossed us to the wolves, basically.
It's unfortunate. Do you have any? Do you have advice to like other people who might be, guided in this way? If they were to pick up the phone and this were to happen to them, what would you tell them to do?
Just don't do any business on the phone. Now we're just sceptical of anything that comes on the phone, and particularly Douglas has always been so careful. The family and people know has said, well, he would never get scammed.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
This caller ID that you're talking about,
Yes.
I had no idea it could be replicated in
cloned
that
was
way.
the word they used.
Right.
Now, cloned, as you said.
Yeah.
I think that now is a warning to others. If that comes up, you cannot rely upon it.
It's also, in some of the information we were given, I have to read this first from Santander did have a reply. They said, we have a great deal of sympathy for Mr. and Mrs. Macfarlane and all those who are victims of fraud. Unfortunately, despite very clear warnings not to move money to a safe account, both Mr. and Mrs. Macfarlane continue to authorize these transfers. That's the official statement from the bank. But the one thing that, just on a personal reason, in this day and age, I know that Santander made 1.72 billion pounds in profit this year in the UK.
Yes.
And they're also slashing back. And just to do the human thing,
Give them their money
Santander,
back.
give them their money back. Just give them their money back. And we would love to see that, this morning's audience support this, because you've been loyal customers. I'm sure when there was, and I'm not saying an overdraft or some little bits of money you needed to pay some fees or whatever, you were probably never late. You did everything you were
Never.
meant to do.
No, never
and they
ever
should
done.
have your back being loyal customers. So I'm just saying it here and there.
Yeah.
Santander, give them their money back.
on.
What are you waiting for?
This must have completely, killed your trust for, not
Completely.
just...
Yes.
And
Yes.
not with other banks, with people on the phone. It can happen to anybody.
So easily.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
And
Please.
other banks are already repaying their customers and have agreed to do so in these circumstances.
Yes, because there was one other person who was in the same situation and in the same scam, and they got paid back by another bank.
Correct.
And
Correct.
actually, the lady from Santander afterwards actually said to me on the phone, you can read things, you can see other people's stories, but when it happens to you, it's different. And I'm thinking, yes.
Yes, it is.
So beware.
Well,
it can
please,
happen to you.
please let us know what happens. We would, want to have a follow-up, and hopefully you will get your money back.
Okay, thank you very much.
Douglas and Ruth, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you again.
Appreciate it.